Hey there folks, Wrel here, and welcome to another episode of the YouTube Proper series, which is a playlist dedicated to sharing helpful advice for future or current YouTube commentators. Now today we're going to be talking really quickly about what makes a good thumbnail for a YouTube video. So if you already have a channel of your own or are interested in starting one, then this brief little guide can hopefully help you put out some better thumbnails to get your content noticed without being obnoxious in the process. So to get started, anybody with a YouTube channel can create and upload a custom thumbnail that represents their video. To do this, you just go into your video edit tab, you click on this little button right here, and this button is also available when you're in the process of uploading the video. That said, the first and most important thing to understand is that your thumbnail is a representation of your video. I should be able to glance at a thumbnail and have a general idea of what your video is about without even looking at the title. This is sometimes difficult to do, but that is definitely the goal you should shoot for. Even if it doesn't tell me what the video is actually about, the thumbnail should at the very least grab the attention of your audience, and there are many ways to do that. The easiest ways are just to use bright and powerful imagery with a solitary focus, and not a whole lot going on in the background. So if you are doing a weapon review, your weapon is front and center. If there is a background, then you can outline or put shadows under the weapon so that it stands out a little bit more. Another technique that's commonly used for attention grabbing is clickbait. Do not do this. Please don't do this. Usually you see pictures of sexy women on a thumbnail and you click on the video. Turns out it's not actually about sexy women. It's just some douche talking about the problems he has in his life. Clickbaiting is not a good foundation for a relationship with your subscribers. It'll get you views, but views mean next to nothing now because YouTube values watch time as the primary metric to determine whether or not your video is worthwhile. So do yourself and your audience a favor and be upfront with what your video is about. If you're going to be using text on your thumbnail, it should be clear and readable when it's shrunken down, because most of the time the thumbnail that you'll be seeing is on the sidebar or in your feed, and it's incredibly small. So don't put too much text on the thumbnail if you can help it, and don't do it in script or overly stylish fonts, because we probably won't be able to read it if the image is shrunken down, and that kind of defeats the point of having it there in the first place. Another important thing to be aware of is that different sites and embed settings can obscure your thumbnail. YouTube puts a video length timer at the bottom right hand corner of every video. Bing puts it in the bottom left hand corner. If you embed the video on certain forums or websites, you might have an info bar at the very top of your video. If the video is in a YouTube playlist, that'll obscure things too. And all of this is important to be aware of so that you can keep the vital information as visible as possible. Lastly, a good thumbnail should be identifiable and original in style. And by that, I mean that your thumbnail should coincide with your brand image. So if I'm browsing through videos online, I can instantly recognize a video that's by Drifter or a video that's by Xbox Ahoy. Same thing with Sergeant Merrill. Same thing with anybody who has a consistent and recognizable style. You want to try and develop a style that's your own, and then you include it in everything you release. This won't start with a thumbnail most likely. It's probably already in your intros, it's already in your outros, it's already in your channel art. And mine has changed over time as I've been experimenting with different ways of making things unique and embody my personal style, while also still giving me room to show what I need to show. It's not a good idea to constantly change your thumbnail designs around, especially if you have a larger following, because it might take some time for your audience to be able to recognize your videos again when they're browsing through the playlist. Usually, if you want to change up your branding, that'll go beyond the thumbnail, and you'll be changing a lot of how you represent your channel. Also, remember though that you can actually go back and create new thumbnails for older videos if you feel that those older videos are still relevant. I know that this video is brief and that we were only talking about the concepts and guidelines of creating a good thumbnail, but hopefully there's something in there worthwhile for those of you who are developing your channel. I've also listed some tutorials for the actual creation of thumbnails in the video description, along with some free image editors for those of you who don't have one or just don't have one you like to use. If this video has been interesting, helpful, or entertaining, please feel free to like, subscribe, tell your friends about the channel, and if you have any advice on creating proper thumbnails, or if you don't have a channel and you just want to share what draws you in or turns you off to clicking on a video, you can do that in the comments section down below. Thanks very much, folks. Wrel signing off.
Crashing, they're watching the bridges.